Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings. This is the next video in the series. We are making inventory management system, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to work to make the purchase form and subforms. So this is going to be a very critical aspect of this series of this system. So I want you to pay attention to whatever I'm demonstrating. Okay. So before I begin, if you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. In any case, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you do and hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. So in this video, as I said, we are going to work with the purchase order forms. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of overview, what it is, how it is looks like. So this is how the purchase order form will look like. We have on the top, let me get the pointer, and we have on the top is purchase order information, purchase order details in the bottom, and we'll have a couple of buttons to create, update, confirm order, mark it complete. So this is how the form will look like. Not exactly like this, but this is a kind of a replica of what we are intending to make. Okay. And in this table we will have like the detail of the order. So whatever is being ordered, we will have that information in here. Okay. And then we'll have a very important aspect of the purchase or inventory management in essence. When we make a purchase, the product has to go through different statuses, different stages of the order, right? So this is how the typical inventory management system looks like. Of course, there may be changes based on customized statuses based on the business type, but if we look at the generic inventory management, and the stock is on order, then it is in transit, then we receive it, and once we receive, we count it, we check the physical quantity, etc. And if the stock is ready to be sold, we'll mark that stock as available to promise, which means it is available with us to promise to the customers. And when the customer places the order, it goes as a reserve stock, and then when customer pays for that order, then it goes as a sold stock. So this is a sort of cycle from the purchase until the product is sold. This is how the typical inventory management system looks like, the statuses sorry, of the product looks like. But we are not going into so much of complication, because in transit, the where there's very sophisticated operation is happening, the supplier and the customer have the same systems, then we can build this in transit system. So but we don't have that in this particular inventory management system, so we're going to skip that. So what we're going to have is very simple three stages. We'll have on order, we'll have received, and we'll have sold. We'll keep it simple. It's a basic inventory management. There's nothing sophisticated or complicated in that. Okay. So we'll say we place the order, we received it, and we sold it. That's it. Very simple. We're going to keep it. And also we want to make sure that when we receive the stock, not when we order, but when we receive the stock in our warehouse, that means we have to pay to the supplier, right? The supplier who has provided us that stock, we have to pay to that supplier. So we have to keep our accounting in order. So when we receive a stock in whatever quantity, we will mark it as a receive, and that will go into the accounting table that we have received 5 quantity of that product. So the accounting department should be able to calculate how much we need to owe, or we owe to that supplier. We need to pay to that supplier, and then we will make an entry in the inventory table as well to make sure that we are keeping the accurate stocking. So there's a lot that is going on, and we have to do VB coding to the extensive level as well in some certain situations. So that's why I said please pay attention to whatever I'm going to demonstrate. And also, I'm not going to demonstrate everything in this video. We'll have like 2 or maybe 3 videos around the purchase details, because I want to make sure that we capture everything. And if you think that I missed something at the end or within this demonstration, please do let me know in the comments below also. So if you're following along and making the same application, I'm sure if you have made the same database, I've done a couple of changes and I wanted to demonstrate those changes. And if you look at the inventory table, this is how the inventory table used to look like. Basically, what I've done, I've gotten rid of the new quantity in stock column completely, and I have change the quantity change column into just quantity. I will let you know what is the purpose of this change. And then I've done bit of changes. Well, I've added one column in the purchase order details, which I forgot to add. And this is what I said in the beginning in the first video, if you recall, that we will change the database when we go along with the application, and that's okay. It's always better to change things to make it a better application. So what I did, everything else is same. I've changed the quantity to order quantity, and I've added a column called receive quantity. That's it. And I'm sure you would understand why I did that. If not, don't worry, I will demonstrate in the video. All right, so now let's get back and let's build this skeleton of the purchase order. And then we will end the video. In the next video, then we'll do a bit of VB coding behind this particular form. Okay, so we'll go back to the Microsoft Access, and this is where we are. And let's get to the let's copy a form. So let's say this form I'll copy, I'll paste it, and I'll say PO. All right, POF, purchase order form. All right, let's do a bit of change in that. So of course we'll get rid of everything, and we'll go to the create button. We'll go behind that, and let's say we'll keep this. Because we are going to use this similar code. Remember, in the previous video I've demonstrated that also. We'll keep this, only we'll change the name of the table, and everything else will remain same. So that's why I don't like to delete everything, but I would delete the code that is not required to be there. Okay, so we'll keep that, we'll just get rid of this. All right, there we go, and we'll keep rest of it. Okay. Now let's expand the size of this form, because we are going to make this as a little bigger form. um, and there we go. Okay, let's bring these buttons here. What buttons we are? Create, update, confirm order, mark it complete. um, we'll come back to the buttons later on, but first let's put this skeleton in place. So I will bound this form for a moment, because we want to fetch the uh, details, also the labels or the fields, sorry, from the database. So we'll bound that temporarily, and we'll fetch the fields that we have in this particular table. So we'll stack them. We'll go to the home tab. We will mark it. So we'll change the color. We'll go to the padding. We'll make it narrow. Go to back to property sheet format tab, and we will make it 0.3. All right. Then we'll make 0.05 top margin. There you go. I will expand the width of these text boxes, and we'll expand the width of labels as well. So purchase ID, we'll have that. Supplier, we'll have that. Purchase date, and the status. Okay, so now we have 4 columns. Well, let's break them down, break the layout. Let's align them. So maybe we don't need to have this as big. So let's bring them here. Okay. This will take time, so just bear with me. Always, it's important that we make it right. This is not required to be that big. Okay, there we go, and the status can come here. All right, so we can make it okay, so maybe can come here. Okay, so that's a bit of how the form will look like. We'll change the supplier from text box to the combo box, because remember we have a supply table. So we'll link this to the supply table. So change to, we'll say combo box. We'll go to data tab, and we will fetch the table called supplier, and we'll get the ID and the supplier name. Okay, that's enough. We'll close that. Go back to the format tab, 0 semicolon 1. All right. And then we'll change the height of this combo box, because remember all the text boxes are zero point 0.3 height. So we'll change that. Next thing we want to do is we want to create the purchase details information area. Now we can achieve this in multiple ways. Either you can create a subform, and that subform will contain, of course, it will be linked to the main form, uh, or you can create a list box. That list box will be used to um, house or store the information that we will have in the purchase order details table, which will be linked to the purchase order table. You can do that, and for me personally, if you'll ask me, for me that is the preferred way of doing it. So I always like to have list boxes, and in those list boxes to display the information, and then we can have a couple of buttons to manipulate that information, which mean we can modify that information as well. We also need to have a what do you call the a little form, which will be data entry form for the purchase order details. Okay, so we want to have that form as well, so we can make we can enter a new product in the purchase order whenever we require to do so. So let's do one thing. Let's get the list box, and this is the list, this is combo box, sorry, this is the list box. So let's get the list box, and let's put it right here, and we'll say cancel as of now, and we'll bring this information up table, we'll get rid of it, and make font color black. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we link this purchase order details with the purchase order number. All right, so to do that, we will click on the list box. We can achieve that in multiple ways. Either we can go to the data tab and we can put the row source, which means the query, which will requery the information every time we make a change in the purchase order details. And I think for me that is the most preferred way of doing it. Okay, so we'll go here and dot dot dot, and we'll get the purchase order details table. Or do we need to create a query? We'll see that. So in the purchase order details, what we have purchase order detail ID, purchase ID, product ID, cost price, and or order quantity, total cost, received quantity, status. So let's get the products table as well. So we'll have this purchase ID, we'll have the product ID, we'll have the product name, cost price, order quantity, total price, received quantity, status. So we'll have this in the list box, but we will hide these three columns, because technically speaking, we don't need to see these three columns. What we will see in the list box, however, is the product, cost price, order quantity, total cost, received quantity, and status. Okay, we'll see this information. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just to remember that, what we are going to hide and what we are going to keep. So first three columns, how many columns we have? 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 columns total. So first three columns will hide these columns. Let's close that, and we'll go to the form design, property sheet, format, and we'll say column heads yes, column count 9, and remember we have to give the width here. So the first three columns we are going to hide, so 0 semicolon 0 semicolon 0, and then we'll have product name. Product name will be a little bigger, so we'll make it let's say 4. Then we'll make the pricing, cost price, so let's say 2 2, quantity 2, total cost 2, quantity received 2, and then the status 2. How many columns we have here? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, that's good. So let's go ahead and see this in the form view, and we can see here there's a lot that we need to change. So product column is very wide, we need to narrow it down. Essentially we need to narrow down all the columns, okay, because this is ridiculously big. All right, let's go back, and let's change the width. So let's say 2 for the product, 1 for the rest of the columns. Okay, let's go to the form view, and now it looks better, right? So we have what we need. So product, cost, price, or order quantity, total cost, received quantity, and status. So this is, you can see that this is coming along, but we have to do a lot of work still. All right. So what we need to do is we need to have few more buttons. So we'll have one button here for adding a new record into the purchase order details list box or the table, and then we will have another button for marking a order received or place order, etc. So we have to do multiple function. Remember, I was showing you in the PowerPoint these statuses. So essentially we'll have the buttons for all of these things. On order, we'll have button on the top. So when we'll say confirm order, everything that is in the purchase order details for that purchase order will be marked as order placed. Okay, so it will be on order. Then we have receipt. Now in receiving, we can't go with the bulk operation, right? Until unless, for example, you're very sure that you received whatever you have ordered in a good quantity or in a good condition, then yeah, sure, you can have a bulk one button to mark everything as received. But in reality, that's not the case. When we do the receiving, we want to make sure that we check the item damage, quantity, any shortage, any excess. We check all of these things, and that's why it's required that individually we'll mark that item as received. So we'll have a button for receive in here. We'll have two buttons, one to add a new product, and then to receive a product. Okay, so we'll have two buttons right here. Or if you don't want to have another button for receiving, we can have double click event for to modify the information. We can have that. All right, so but at least we need to have at least one button, that is to add a record in this particular list box or the table. So let's go there. Let's go to the design view. Let's copy this button and let's have this button here. Okay, and we will call this button add product. So we'll move it, and we will give a name, btn add product. Okay, maybe we can change the color if you want to change to differentiate from the other buttons, or something like that. Okay, now what is the next step? What should we do? Well, next step is to create another form, which will be the data entry form for the product details. Okay, so that's very, very important that we do that. So let's copy a form and paste it. So this one will be called as p details f. Okay, and it's weird name, purchase details f. We'll get rid of this, delete it, go to the form design, property sheet. We'll bound that temporarily, purchase or purchase details, and we'll fetch the fields in this particular table. All right, we'll stack them. We'll go to the home tab. We'll mark them as full black font. We'll go to the arrange tab. We'll do the padding narrow, and we'll go back to the property sheet of this form, and we will set the height to 0.3. You know this drill, right? This is a standard drill, at least for me, whenever I'm creating the form. So that's why I memorized it, and I do that with every single form that I create. All right, so expand the label. We'll make them bold, and expand the text boxes as well. Now we know that we don't want to keep, we don't need actually these, um, this also. So we'll go ahead and we'll make them as enable no, locked yes. Okay. Now this is the product ID. So product ID, remember we have that product ID in this list box as well. If you forgot, then I think the third column houses the product ID. Okay. So we'll have that here, and that's okay. And we'll have cost price, order quantity. We do not want the cost price to be editable, and we do not want the purchase ID to be editable. The product ID to be editable, um, and we do not want the total cost to be editable. So you know that what we are making, right? So enable no, locked yes. So we'll select all of these. So what user need to do is user need to forget about these fields. What user can do is user can add the quantity that is ordered, and you can add the quantity that is received. That's it. That's the only manipulation user can do. Other than that, everything else will be automatically done. Okay, and that I will demonstrate in the code in the next video. So I'm just doing the formatting. All right, total cost. Formatting is always very, very important. Status. The order quantity, let's say we change the background color to yellow, let's say, and receive quantity will change the background color to, let's say, greenish. That's dark green. We'll make it light green. And here we go. Okay. So in here, of course, we need to go here. We need to change the code. Remember this. And we'll remove this one also. And in here, we'll remove this one as well. Okay. So that's pretty much it. And here we go. Okay, now what I would like to do is I would like to see these two forms together. So one is purchase detail F, and the other one is purchase order. And let's get rid of the. So we'll come here. We'll get rid of the record source for the table, and we'll make it unbound. And we'll add few more buttons. So we have added a button confirm order. All right. And then we'll add one more button, mark it complete. We'll expand a little bit and we'll say mark it complete. Okay, so these are the buttons. Let's go back to PowerPoint. Okay, and let me hide this. You can see that we have kind of similar. Come on, we'll have, create, update, confirm order, mark it complete. We have purchase order information right here, and then we have the purchase order detail information right here. Okay, so let me go to form view. There we go. Now it looks a little better. You can see that here. Okay, and we have add product button, and this product button, let's we'll do VB coding in next video, not today. I'm not in mood. Anyway, so we click here on add product button, and this product details, sorry, the purchase order detail form will appear, and user can add the product. One mistake I can see that I've done, and rightfully so, this I should not be making the product ID. I should not be making as enable yes, locked no. Let's change the. That's so funny, man. That's so funny. Let's change the change to combo box, and we'll go to row source, and we'll get the products. Products. Where are the products? Here we go. Come on, products. Okay. And we want to make sure that we get the supplier information as well. Why? All the products, we may have products from different supplier, right? Remember, when we create a product, we assign a supplier to that product to have a better what do you call, the better control on data entry, and to have better user interface. What we will do is we will assign, we will filter the products based on what supplier has been chosen on the main form. So that's very, very important that we do that. How do we do that? It's here in the query. So we'll say forms. Okay, we'll say forms, exclamation mark. We have POF form, and then on that we have a field called supplier. So what it will do, it will look for the purchase order form, and it will look for which supplier has been chosen in the main purchase order form, and based on that it will filter the products details, and it will show to the user in this combo box. So user don't have to worry about, am I selecting the right product or not. So that's very, very important from the user experience point of view. And this must be done, this needs to be done for every application that you will build. So let's do the column count. Columns are 3, but we are going to make one column visible and others we are going to hide. And let's change the height of this combo box to 0.3. And yeah, that's now it's pretty much it. Now we need to we need to unbound these forms and the text boxes, combo boxes, all the objects. We need to make them unbound. Remember, we are going to use the record sets to fetch the information or to populate the information. Okay, there you go. So now it is completely unbound, and this is the form. Let's make them as um, non-editable. So user will only choose what supplier to whom the order should be placed. I think now it's pretty much completed. We have the skeleton of the main purchase form, and we have another form created for the purchase details. And I think we are done with this skeleton. I think in the next video we should be able to put some code behind these buttons and to make it more workable purchase order form. All right, I hope that you have learned something in this video. If you have, even if you have not, please do let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.